like the structure of them will hold a little bit better. And I think if you want to keep more of a roll, and like you want to
Happy Thanksgiving,
knife and fork and slice into it.
Right.
I would say
these are
you can
chefs.
blanch them first to get them
I'm going
more flexible.
to actually
because they're a little stiff when raw.
turn.
And I would take out the center stem from the stem.
I'm going to turn off the speaker. See if we can still hear. Oh, I have to unplug it then.
Would double up the Swiss chard leaves because
there we go.
They're just like a little bit firmer than spinach, really, and spinach would just be like.
I'm listening to this on public radio.
Okay.
And they're giving partially good advice on cooking, and then they're like missing some major things. So this lady, they're just not explaining to her that if you want to keep the chard flavor in your chard vegetable side, you just shouldn't cook the chard. It hasn't occurred to anybody. I'll let you listen to the next part, and we'll talk some more.
Then I thought rye bread, because I love rye. And I did think about mushrooms, and then I thought, that might be too moist. So I crossed it off. But
it's not too moist, you just go with a raw option.
It's a really great one.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Dee, I wanna hang out in your head. It sounds fascinating.
Yeah, that sounds super cool.
Come over.
Yeah.
Send us a picture. Picture.
Okay, I will do.
Awesome.
Well, happy Thanksgiving, Dee. I hope you love your stuffed greens.
Yes.
I do too. It'll be fun to put it together. I'm looking forward to it.
Right on.
Thanks very much for your suggestions. They're very helpful.
Okay.
I don't understand how these people are calling on Thanksgiving at noon and asking these questions.
Right. We have another caller.
They should sound more alarmed.
Hey, Annie. Happy Thanksgiving.
Hi, Annie.
Hey, happy Thanksgiving to you.
How are you, and where are you calling from?
I am well. I am calling from Seattle.
Right on. We're Northwesterners.
Yes.
Yeah, we're a good lot. So for the past few years, I've been making this delicious barley and mushroom casserole. It tastes better than it sounds. And I got it from the Sunset. I know it sounds very California hippie, and it is, but it's delicious. It's cooked barley mixed with an olive tapenade, topped with mushroom duxelle, and then like a chive and mascarpone topping and phyllo on top for that kind of crisp crunch.
Sorry, but it's not casserole if there's phyllo dough on top.
Yeah, it's delicious. It's warm, it's hearty. And as much as I love it, I'm also wondering if there are ways to kind of spruce it up or riff on it. And even though it is vegetarian, like I am open to trying to add meat to it too.
This has become the theme of this hour.
Yeah, add meat to it.
That would be a beautiful vegetarian dish. Just add meat to it.
Seriously, aren't y'all having turkey?
On Thanksgiving, because you're not getting enough protein.
Right. What the hell?
Actually, can I ask you one question before we get into this? Tell me more about the barley part of it. What type of barley and how is the barley prepared?
So the barley
Okay, that's a good question.
does not give me a type. I quite honestly just buy whatever is in bulk at the grocery store.
Sure, yeah.
But you cook it with garlic, olive oil. Oh, I guess it's roll barley. Sorry, I'm looking at the recipe now. But you cook it with barley, olive oil, and then, of course, the tapenade also has some oil to it.
Now we're going to make some brittle
It's got that nice garlicky kind of salty flavor.
while I'm criticizing other chefs.
And you just like boil the barley ahead of time to soften it up first.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have a question. What kind of mushroom are you using?
They're cremini mushrooms.
Okay, I figured they were probably cremini. My first instinct is to like really have fun with all the beautiful mushrooms that are out in the world, and try and change
Especially
them.
in the Northwest.
Yeah, like change up the mushroom.
Yeah.
Do a medley, because I think the varietals of mushroom could be really a fun place to play.
Yeah, totally. I mean, in Northwest, you guys get so many chanterelles that are so nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the thing I was thinking, the reason why I was asking about the barley is
I don't want all those mushrooms
I
in it.
thought maybe what you could do, you can swap in some farro, which are like berries that you also just boil ahead of time in a little bit of salted water, and they have such a beautiful.
Not salted water. If you have good farro, you shouldn't need to salt the water at all.
Or a blend, maybe do like half barley and half farro. Or if you want to go in that direction, freekeh is basically farro, but it's been like.
But it's like granulated. Don't do that.
Burnt, like the wheat is burnt when it's at the harvest time. So like it's basically processed with fire in some way. So it's basically berries that are smoky.
Yeah, it'll add like an intensity of flavor that could be really pretty.
Yeah, so I think a little bit that sort of mild smokiness of the Frika could be really, really nice in there.
I don't know what he's talking about. Frika is just bulgur wheat.
Or just
in
syrup
Greek.
Sausage and toss it in there.
I don't think he understands what that
What
is.
about like some heavy cream? Like, could we make it like a cream?
It's just the Greek name for bulgur wheat, y'all.
Yeah, we're just
There's
throwing a little
nothing
sour
fancy
cream.
there.
Yeah. No, I like that. A little tanginess.
Yeah.
Okay,
could be delicious.
Yeah, sour cream makes everything better. Quite honestly.
You could also make like a
Decrystallize my sugar
gravy
here.
for this dish specifically out of like sour cream and herbs, and maybe do like lemon
Oh,
juice
bingo.
with garlic or like something like that, and just use that on top. Could be
Add just a little bit of water
Oh, that sounds delicious.
in here with them, like that.
I mean, it just sounds like a great dish. So I don't want to like.
I'm mostly gonna just
completely
leave it
reinvent but
because
you can just-
crystallized
just goose it.
organic
You can
sugar
throw
is
that or
super
something,
forgiving,
something to the
and
side.
it'll
You
just
could
do
make
kind
it
of whatever you
feel
want.
a little fresh and new for you, but you're making a little bit of a new tradition.
So I need to
Yeah.
find the right size dish.
cool.
This is just baby
Oh, thank you. These are such great suggestions.
Thank you.
baby brittle making. We're just gonna make a little bit because I only have a little bit of sugar,
Thank
about a
you.
cup
Happy
and a half.
Thanksgiving.
Let's go to May. Hey May, happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Where are you calling from?
I am calling from Seattle, Washington.
Okay, we have half the population of Seattle on board.
Truly. Hi, May. This is
I
Dan.
think we're
Happy
gonna use this
Thanksgiving.
big one.
Hi, Dan. Happy
This is
Thanksgiving.
about a 12-inch by 5 or 6 inch.
So this year, my birthday actually falls on Thanksgiving. And my partner and I, we're planning to do
That can't even be true.
an Italian-inspired, like
Thanksgiving
big
on a particular
romantic
date.
kind of Thanksgiving dinner. And so my question is, what would you both suggest for adding Italian influence to your Thanksgiving table?
May, you've
Wait, is
called
it
the
just
right
you
person.
and your partner?
Just us two. A nice, quiet, romantic Thanksgiving dinner is. I'm used to the huge family and bouncing around from house to house, so this is pretty new for both of us, I'd say.
Right on. So your birthday gift to yourself is everyone stay away.
Correct, exactly. No family obligation, just food.
This sounds so great. My family is deeply Italian American and has put as much Italian influence into our large Thanksgiving as possible every year. And we always have pasta and meatballs and all the antipasta and all those things. But I think you kind of want to keep it like really, like you don't want to make a ton of stuff, it sounds like, or I wouldn't if it was just 2 people. And I'm thinking you could make like a really beautiful like white lasagna that like has like some of the fall vegetables in it and maybe some of the herbs that might belong at a Thanksgiving meal. That was sort of the first thing that popped into my head, but I don't know how traditional Italian you want to go, or if you're into sort of
Okay,
making something
so we've got
that
that
feels
going.
more like aligned
We've
with
only been
Thanksgiving,
going
but
for a
still
little bit
of the
here.
Italian sort of like repertoire.
I've added a little bit of
Thank
my
you so much. So,
coconut
both my partner and I love to
sunflower
cook,
oil.
and we're super kind of into fusion.
It's
So,
this
I
sun
mean,
cocoa
if it's a
stuff. I actually can't find it at my health food store, but it's at my local Podunk Walmart.
Wow.
It's about
That would be
$10.50.
wild.
Totally worth it.
I was thinking like a bechamel, with maybe like layers of lasagna noodle, but
I'm gonna
maybe
put
sort of
some
like
parchment paper on
a
here
little bit
because
of
I
like
want to
maybe
keep those
sage in it, and
edges
then like some butternut squash
kinda
thinly
crisp.
sliced, or some kale, and just sort of bake
not
like a
quite
really
vertical
beautiful
edges, but they're
layered lasagna that isn't just like red sauce and ricotta, but you're having some of the more
not using
more
aluminum
flavors
foil,
in
of
there.
course, because it's going to be very hot when we pour it in,
This certainly has
and aluminum foil particulates very quickly, and once it settles back in to the body,
Yes.
it is suddenly impossible to get out. So, you don't want that. It's very expensive and dangerous to get it out of the body, so just don't put yourself through that. What I am going to
They're
do
available. They're a bit of a splurge, but they are
is fold the
in my mind,
edges.
one of the 3 best shrimps in the entire universe.
Show you here in a second.
So like do those
I'm going
lightly
to fold the
sauteed.
edges.
But I I was also thinking stuffed
So that you have a
calamari
little bit
could be so
more
yummy.
structure.
And like when you said stuffing, it's, the stuffing could be, I mean, you can really make it any way you want. But the way I was taught was
I'm
breadcrumbs
going to use my
sauteed with
fingernail
garlic
here.
and oil. And you take the calamari, you take the legs off the body, you chop them up.
Doesn't
and
have
you
to be
put
perfect,
into that stuffing as well.
since I don't want to cut this, you could also cut it and make it perfectly
And then you sear the
one
calamari
strip here
then
and one
raise
strip
it with
here.
tomato
I
sauce.
did not do that because this is
the
just going to be
calamari
me eating it anyway.
You cook it a minute or an
So I
hour.
just did it like that.
If you cook it in between,
Little
it
bit
gets
of
kind really
structure.
tough. You sear it for the nice brown flavor, and then just
And
smother
then
it with
once it
tomato sauce
cools,
and gently simmer it until it gets
we're going to have some
nice and tender
options
again.
here.
And
Now
it's
this
just
is
so
boiling now. I'm going to be a little
two of
careful
those
with
on a
it.
plate
We
with a
got
little bit of
sugar
tomato
around.
sauce
I do
before
not
your
have
beautiful
sugar
white
around, so
lasagna,
no biggie
before
over
your
here.
turkey.
Yeah.
But this is
That's
The
delicious.
Brussels sprouts.
still
And
boiling.
happy birthday to you. You'll wake up. You'll wake up in the next year.
So delicious.
Thank you so much. All of that sounds
You're going
delicious.
to smell your
Enjoy.
extracts.
Happy birthday and
See if
happy
you want to add
Thanksgiving.
Thank you
anything.
so much.
Thank you.
All right, man. Well,
I think I'm
Dan,
going to add
Yes.
I'm gonna cook with you sometime.
Let's do it. I'm ready.
It doesn't even have to be a holiday.
one crystallized ginger. I'm not even going to cut it
Let's
up.
make our own
I'm
holiday.
just going to put it in there.
Well, thanks so much for coming by today.
Thank you for having us.
You can cut it up if you want.
The
I'm
best
just
episode of the
winging
year.
this.
So honored to be here.
Well, thank you. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Dan Pelosi is the author of the new best-selling cookbook, Let's Eat. Turkey Confidential is supported by Total Wine and More, helping shoppers find.
Okay. So that was Turkey Confidential. There's a few other things they said wrong in there, so I want to correct them there. Somebody called and asked about putting a lemon into a turkey and whether that would make it bitter. Now, of course, people have been cooking with citrus like forever. So that kind of shouldn't even be a question. But there's nothing bitter about citrus, actually. There is something bitter about the pesticides on your citrus if you get shitty citrus. So pith is not bitter unless you get conventional citrus. It's important if you're going to cook with the citrus to not be getting pesticide-ridden kind anyway. So just don't do that. So they said that wrong. They also said wrong about citrus in the cavity of the bird, that that you needed to remove the pith or use preserved lemons. You don't need to do either of those things. What you're doing when you're putting citrus into the cavity is you're adding a tremendous amount of steaming potential and an opportunity for the air to move around, because the citrus is pretty porous. It's much more porous than like a bread stuffing that you've smashed together will be. And because you've got, whereas a dressing, a bread dressing, has minimal to no water in it. And so you're actually suffocating it through that. Water will move through the channels, right? And so you've got, by stuffing with citrus, you don't want to put a whole citrus in there. You want to cut it up in ways that it will be able to move around a little bit. It's going to break down and give away all its juice. So you actually don't need to worry about that at all. I first learned about citrus in the turkey cavity from a colleague in cooking school at the inimitable Patti Lopez, who now runs a bakery in Houston. And it's just beautiful. I did it that Thanksgiving. I had never heard of it growing up in a very, very, very white space. She did it with her family's Thanksgiving. And there were many, many types of citrus that you put in there. And then you start thinking and you can riff on that citrus. So you can go herby with it. You can add some more dry fruit to it, which will, be braised and kind of stewed by the time you're done with it. And that little bit of pop really helps. I, for many years, used golden raisins as sort of my secret weapon in everything. In soups, you grab that little bite of sweet. It is really meaningful. And it works the same way in turkey. It works great in turkey. So notice I am using a wood spoon here. Obviously, you don't want to do any metal on metal here. You do want to be bearing in mind the temperature of your sugar always. I'm on a gas stove on low medium heat. On low, it doesn't really do anything. It's still pretty granulated, more granulated than when I did pralines a few years ago. So I think I'm going to do is add some cream. If I were using a proper brittle recipe, I'm sure I wouldn't be adding cream, but since I'm not doing it, it's happening. Everybody find something to like about it. Here we go. So this is add some cream, and that's gonna. What I'll also recommend is keep buying your cream in cartons. Don't buy your cream in this type of container. This I bought, it was a little more expensive than this, not just because I got this on clearance, but you can see all of this cream is stuck in here. You can't get it out. There's no getting it out. And then I've only used up about this much, and then it started really curdling. It doesn't even come out. So it's useless, and I have to throw it away because I can't recycle this because this stuff won't come out. So that's pretty infuriating for somebody who spent $7 on. This, at least, this is not handy at all. It would still be better if you could open the whole carton. But if you really want to, you can cut into the carton, right? So we're going to play the industrial game first, and we'll try to open this way. But then, after that, we'll probably cut into it. I'm wondering if maybe a little more water actually would be good here. I'm going to try it. Not the best idea. You really want to do it when it's still cold. But it's fine. See, now I've made it into rocks. That's fine. I'm just playing. There's no goal here. I just thought I'd use up some of my nuts. I got too many nuts that I'm not eating at the moment. They're already sprouted and nice. Let's see. So they had that piece kind of wrong. They also said that a woman called in asking about she's going to her grandmother's home at assisted living that had a kitchenette, and she wanted it to be as homey a Thanksgiving as possible for her grandmother. So they start riffing. Those start riffing on, oh, well, you could make a shepherd's pie that's, Thanksgiving themed or something, or pot pie, or put everything into a casserole or something. Well, that's a good answer for people today. It's not a good answer for your grandmother. They took into account 0% of the grief that someone who has been alive 80 or 90 years would be going through in their version of a home Thanksgiving. So that was terrible advice, and please don't do that. If somebody wanted to do that, these people are so out of touch that they don't even realize you can go right now and get a lean cuisine that has, turkey and stuffing and, stewed sweet potatoes and so forth. You can already do that at Walmart. So that's not the answer. And the same is true of, you can also do that with, sorry, I'm checking my sugar here. It is boiling down. It did reach temp pretty fast. I think this is going to be a project for a while because I don't remember how to do it. I even have recipes to this effect, but I don't remember how to do it. So those are a couple of things to keep in mind. The other advice was, I have, an Italian elder coming over and I'm not Italian, he's a neighbor or whatever. What should I do? Thinking that you should make everything Italian. That's not what people are looking for. They're not looking to come to your house to eat like they eat at their house. And they don't want your culturally appropriated attempts to cook like they know how to cook either. So for the most part, unless you've been, teaching in another country for 2 years and you're missing home and you've said that to them and they make a clumsy attempt at hamburgers or something. So that would be the advice on that. If I get this peanut and or almond brittle together, because there's a lot of options here. I'll post that later. But happy Thanksgiving in the meantime.